Hello and welcome back. Before I say anything about anything or really start the video, so the days are getting a bit longer now. 7 o'clock is closer to the time when the sun goes down. We've gained an hour and a half of daylight. Some of us may be still living in the conceptual idea of winter. When you look around, you see a lot of snow. When you go outside, you still need to wear a coat and get dressed. But the coat is open more often. Sometimes you don't actually wear a coat at all. Sometimes you're surprised how beautiful it is for it still being winter. I put a post on my story on Instagram and I wrote, "Winter doesn't exist." I'd imagine most people that looked at that just didn't get it. I'm sure a few did, maybe. Winter comes, and then all of a sudden, you buy shoes, winter boots, you buy winter coats, you do all these things, you get ready for Christmas, we have these things that we think you need to do in winter. A few of the things that I mentioned definitely are necessary if you're outside often. A winter coat and all that stuff, boots maybe. But other things that come to mind when you think of winter doesn't need to be. So we do less, for example, during the winter time. And oftentimes we will think it's cold, and we'll get wrapped up in this mindset of it's winter, and we'll carry this it's winter with us until the day that spring comes. And what I'm talking about right now is not actual spring, but psychological or societal spring. So the date of spring. A lot of people, the minute winter hits, they carry the baggage, they carry the heaviness psychologically of winter with them throughout the season. And when I say winter does not exist, I'm speaking of that. I'm speaking of this psychological phantom that exists. Now, the psychological phantom is fear. And in winter, oftentimes we get cabin fever, we get this sense of, not feeling very good anymore, maybe not enough vitamin C, not enough sunlight, basically. So we cocoon inside of our homes, and you can start to feel depressed, anxious, and this is normal when you're missing certain vitamins and so on. So it's a natural thing. But once winter comes, we have all these things that are attached with the idea of winter, and one of them may be that depression is coming. I'm not going to feel as good. Oh, winter. I can't go out and do things with my friends that I like. Winter. I have to always get dressed, before going out. Winter. And you can add all of your own winter things you don't like, you can put whatever you want there. I'm sure we all have our own. But again, the idea that the truth that winter doesn't actually exist. You see, I've been playing with this for the last 4 years since I've had my awakening, and I've been looking into many of the concepts exactly like, just using winter as an example. These are words that, with the word, we attach certain dislikes. You can do it with likes, but for this video specifically, I'm speaking about the dislikes. Same process. So you can attach your dislikes to this word. And once the word comes in, that word generates all kinds of negative emotions, anxiety, just from this word. And because the word, we attached all of the dislikes to that word, or the ones that we feel are related to it. So we've given this word the power to make us feel bad because we've added our negativities to the word. So now when we hear other people say the word, when it's in conversation, when it comes in our mind, when we see an image that represents the word, when we feel a feeling that's attached to that, it also solidifies and makes that word feel more yicky. Because every time we feel one of those negative feelings that are also associated with this word, winter, I'm using for this example, all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, that's a winter thing. You don't think that psychologically aware. You're not aware of that thought, but that's you subconsciously, you know that word is also related to, that negative feeling is also associated with that word. So if every time you feel anxious, if during winter you feel very anxious all winter, and then during the summertime you start to feel anxious, it can remind you of, this is how I feel during the winter. Oh my God, I really hate winter. I'm glad it's not winter. Do you see? So, and this is all because of a word and the power we've given to that word. But what happens if you take the power away from the word? And this is what I've been doing over the last, it's 4 years going on my fifth year. What happens when you don't, or when you take the power away from words? Or what happens when you change the frequency? What happens when you change the tone, the feeling? So instead of adding negative words, like hate or gross or stuff like that, you can look at it as it is, or you don't want to lie. See, this is the thing. You don't want to say, I like winter, and try to pretend something that's not. But what you can do is try to find something that is true for you and add that, so that this here word called winter, you can add any word you want here. Okay, this works for any word. So that when you hear this word, you're not only going to feel the negativity, but you're going to have a more realistic feeling, a more realistic idea, if you will, a vision of this concept, this word winter. Okay, this word, again, whatever word you want to add here, okay? It could be a friend's name, it could be an enemy's name, it could be a job, it could be anything. The color. So, there's two things. You want to start changing the word or you want to start changing the power you give a word by making sure its reflection inside of you is true. So all of those feelings, those negative emotions, whatever you have attached to that word, ask yourself, when you feel it in the moment, is this true for me? Or is this only because I'm afraid to feel this? Does winter actually cause my depression? Or is it because I don't want to go outside and I'm not getting enough vitamin C? Can I do something about it? Or am I letting the heaviness of winter weigh me down, in a sense, have power over me? This thing that I really don't like, oh, here it is. Well, if you can lift all of those negativities and say, is that really a negativity? Do I really... Lack of sun can make me feel depressed no matter what time of year. Do you see what I'm saying? You could stay inside your house and feel that claustrophobic or cabin fever. Okay, you can keep your windows and blinds shut all summer and feel like it's that same feeling that you don't like about winter, and that's just one example. So you see what I mean? It's not winter that causes... So if you feel, oh, winter, I hate winter, I always feel bad, it's not winter. It's a lifestyle, and you're avoiding discomfort and all that stuff. But that's a little bit beyond the point. The point I want to stick with is really about the word. Take the word, bring it more realistic. So you say, is it really the winter that brings this? Or is it just, are all of these things... You want to broaden the truth. So you also want to add positivity to the word itself. So these are all things you can do on the level of words, on the level of spelling. Because certain words have the power to make you feel something. So if you attach certain words that create a certain feeling, then you can make a word, just like a magic spell, create a certain feeling inside of you. And this is what I've done over the last 4 years, and why I'm sharing this with you. Now, there's another way you can go about it. You don't have to add words, but I think this really helps, because if you have a wrong idea of something, if you've given it only your negativity, and every time you look at that word, it's reflecting that negativity to you, and you haven't added any positivity, then you're living in a dream world. It's not true. It's fake. You're not seeing the whole truth. You're seeing what you want to see. You're seeing what you fear. Okay? So try to bring as much truthful, you have to be honest, about winter as you can, or whatever that word is. So I enjoy, going for a walk, whenever the one thing for myself, example, whenever it's wintertime, I find the sky is very clear, very blue. When you get a clear sunny day, it's a different type of sunny day. You tend to appreciate them more. And so I enjoy going for a walk, during the winter. Not always, but that's one thing that I enjoy. So that's one thing. And if you can't find many things that you like about winter, there's another way you can go about this. You don't necessarily need to add words. You don't need to make a word create a feeling for you. Because again, that's just, and I want to give you as many tools here as you can use, because this is just, there's different levels to this, okay? There's different levels to this, I don't know what you want to call it. Creating how you feel. Not letting words have the power over you, but you choosing instead how you feel. So instead of looking at the word and trying to add positivity and trying to remove negativity that's not true for you, but only true because it's common in society, besides doing that, you can also simply just feel the moment. And for myself, this is the more powerful, transformational practice, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a, professional Buddhist and all this stuff that has all these proper words that I could say in these videos. This is this and this is this. So I'm using from my own experience. So this is why sometimes the words I use are different. But so instead of trying to remove negativities that are untrue and adding positivities that are true to words, keeping the true negativities and true for you, you can feel it. So you simply hear the word, and this practice needs to be done in the moment, and this is the only way to really transform yourself. Otherwise, you're still going to only be working on the level of inside your head, your mind, if you just work on the words. You can change how you see a word and all that stuff, but it's not going to transform you until you feel the feeling directly in the moment that the word is showing you the negativity, or you feel the negativity from that word, from the power you gave it. So in that moment, you look outside, you might see a snowstorm. And for you, a snowstorm may be very bad. You might get that negative, it might come on right then. You need to be very watchful. It's going to hit you, and when it does, feel it. Feel yourself and notice how you feel. Notice what you're reacting to. Notice where you are. Notice how you feel, the physical sensations inside your body, outside your body, your skin, your breath. Returning to the senses so that you're not only inside your head. And this is the key. Return to your body and feel what your mind is trying to tell you. And what you'll notice is that, truthfully, the word actually has no power unless you fixate your attention to it. And all of the story that your mind will generate around it. So the moment you fall into that mind trap, if you're trying to do positive or negative, you're on that level, and it can be very difficult. But by simply feeling it, it slips away. A strange thing happens when you openly feel it. Well, let's explore this feeling, you say. I said, I hate snowstorms. Let me see what my body is telling me, not in words, about what I just said, about that. And when you look, you might notice that the only time you feel bad is when you're working within that concept. You'll notice that it's only when you're in that concept that you don't feel good. You'll notice that the minute less of your attention is floating around the ideas of that concept, less here and more here, there's a shift from heaviness to lightness. This just seems to be less important, and it just fades. And once something fades, once you learn how to do this, it's just by simply saying, I'm going to see for myself how this feels. What is this? I want to explore. A quest, an adventure. When you go into your negativity in this way, it immediately transforms it. What is this? Well, all of a sudden, it's gone. Where do I feel? Well, it's nice and warm in here. I'm inside. Oh, look, I can see a nice picture I drew. Oh, that's pretty. I'm so glad I did that. Oh, this shirt feels so nice. You bring it into a more immediate surrounding, into a more immediate sense of what is right now, as far as what your physical senses are telling you, instead of what your mind says about. Do you see what I'm saying? Try this for yourself. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. You can also message me at Danny Authentic Being on Instagram. I answer all of my personal messages, so if ever you want to just reach out, message me there. Feel free. I do answer all of any comment that you put here on YouTube. So I'll leave you with that. Wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video, happy dispelling. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Peace.